Aloha, everyone. This is Jean Russell of Dolphin Touch Wellness Center here in Kauai, Hawaii, and the creator of this podcast, Dolphins, Lemuria, and Higher Levels of Consciousness. And we are all about raising consciousness on the planet and whatever it takes to shift people into alignment and bring them into a connection with their higher selves. Here we do on the physical, on the body, we have massage, body work, Reiki, energy healing. On the spiritual end, we do intuitive readings. We offer retreats. We offer different activities, classes, workshops, different things going on. We just finished a retreat, and our next retreat is going to be in Sedona in June, which we're very excited about. Lemurian activation. So yeah, you could check out our website at dolphintouch.org or come visit us here on Kauai, here in my center at 4544 Kukui Street in Kapa'a. Today, I have a lovely guest, Susan Allen, who is here with us. She's a medium and a beautiful person that I personally have received a session with and has been very impressed with her work. She is going to be coming to Kauai, and she will be here at Dolphin Touch in December. She'll be here December 28th from 4 to 6. And Susan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Jean. It's so fun being here with you. I'm so excited.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you got into this and everything else?
Sure. I'm an animal lover at heart. Like 99% of me chooses to be around animals whenever I can and the ocean. And I started out in animal mediumship, and I didn't believe what was happening. I was like, am I making this up? But more and more clients were referred to me, and veterinarians were referring business to me that I didn't even know. And it was growing by leaps and bounds, and I still was frightened, and I kept my day job. And it took years and years and years for me to step out in the world. And it was through a great loss of mine, my own a personal loss of a pet, that really helped me develop and become who I really was supposed to be in the world. And through that grief and loss, I had the courage to do full-time mediumship. And I was getting dead people coming in during my animal readings. And I thought, if they're this gentle and they give me good information, I'm open, spirit world, use me. Let me help those heal. Let me help people heal through the power of love, because it's always the love connection that brings, the spirit world so far forward. It's the deep love we have for those people and pets in the spirit world.
And I truly believe that love never dies.
That's right.
Never dies. I mean, I don't care, they transition, but you're still there and still feeling the love that's there and all around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you did a reading on me, and you totally connected immediately with my little puppy, 17-year-old puppy that passed away a number of years ago. And of course, Bella Moon, she showed up and was right there from the beginning of our reading, which was so spot on, and it was kind of surprising because I wasn't expecting that little gift to pop in there. That was fun.
It always is. It's, the animals come through, people come through. I never know what's going to happen or come through. And I think that's the beauty and why I stick with this. Like I nothing else, I think, inspires me more than this particular profession that I have chosen. But I really have to tell you, it chose me. I wasn't looking to be a healer or a medium or a psychic. It just like kind of fell in my lap. And when I think back in life, the things that I was very, very successful at, I didn't have to work so hard at. I mean, there were so many other things I worked horribly hard for, right? But the things that fell in my lap effortlessly. And that has been this business and this career and this path that I'm on. And I think the greatest thing is, you know, to help heal people, whether it's helping like 4 people at an event or 80 people. Everybody feels the healing in the room, and people will leave my events and say, I know you were talking to me. I know it was like the message you gave her, I felt it, and you were literally talking to me. I felt it, and I felt so happy to be there. They're very, very uplifting. Like I never doubt the spirit world. Like they've never lied to me, and I trust them, and they've got my back. They've got all of our backs.
Totally. I know when I do my work, a big part of it is trust
Yeah.
and surrender. I mean, like, yeah, there are times where I've worked on someone and I've got a I was getting this message about this dog. Actually, she was giving me a massage and this dog was showing up. And I just had to say something, I'm seeing this dog. And I was describing, she's like, oh my God, I just lost my dog. It just
Oh,
passed away. And I was like, well, it's still around you. And I feel it so strongly. And it's so funny because I was in conflict of, should I say something? This is totally out of the blue. It's really weird, but it's that trust that
yeah.
when we are given these guidance, even if it doesn't make sense on an intellectual level, like, maybe something like way out there that you're like, I
Yeah.
don't know what this means, but this is what's showing up. And it's right
Yeah.
on.
And even if it's not right on, I think we're given images that may happen in the future. Like I know I have predicted things. Like I wasn't trying to predict things, and people go, well, you're a psychic medium. Why are you doing these predictions? But I mean, I have people that would write me that I don't have any recollection of this. No recollection, where this girl had a bunch of miscarriages. I didn't know that, like 8. And I said, your grandmother's here and she's got a rose-colored blanket and it's a baby girl and she's holding it for you. And the woman got white as a ghost and silent. And she birthed a little baby and named it Emily Rose,
Mhm.
a little baby girl. Or the woman that I said, I see like a greenhouse on the ocean, you're going to buy it. And she thought I was nuts. And she emailed me and she goes, you're not going to believe this. It fell in our lap. Like it fell in our lap. That's spirit. Or I was reading for a doctor and her dog was talking to me. It was really a reading for her. And I said, you're not going to be a doctor. Like, I don't know where this comes from. She's an MD writing medical journals. It's actually on my YouTube channel. It's really an interesting reading. And she said to me, she just like rolled her eyes, and I thought, I'm never going to talk to this girl again because she thinks I'm nuts. And
Right.
she was an MD, and I said, you're an artist. Well, she's a graphic designer now, and she has a website. And I told her the guy she was going to marry, like I don't even believe this, but they tell me, I mean, she's doing this whole thing with me on YouTube, and I'm not in it. I think it's called humility is authenticity.
Hmm.
I'm not in it because I have to prove anything to myself. I'm in it because I'm blown away and I can't even believe that this is that, but all of us have the gift. It's, if you're gonna do this, you have to like get very quiet and spend a lot of time alone, I think, and be in silence and be in meditation so you can slow your brain waves down enough to get messages coming in. Like you were in such a relaxed state getting a massage. You were completely relaxed. And you gave her the message. I remember I was getting a facial. It was like a free facial in Nordstrom, and you had to buy some products, but they were doing this facial. And I saw this girl's wedding. I saw the guy she was going to marry. And I said, I'm not trying to be on. Like I wasn't trying to be on, but I was so relaxed that it was just happening. And I don't want to be on 24/7 because it works on your neurological system. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have a break, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know if you want to know. I'm like really wanting a facial and I don't want all this information. I really, how do you relax? Like
Right.
take downtime. And she was so freaked out.
Oh
I
my
felt
God.
so bad. She wanted to hear everything. It was all good stuff. Like I'm not going to tell anybody, you're going to lose your job. Like I don't get that kind of information, which I'm grateful for. I
Right.
don't get that, which that's why I love what I do, because I feel like I'm working with the angels and the light
Mm-hmm.
and animals. Animals are very, as you know, animals are incredibly high vibration, and starting out with animals and animal communication was the highlight of my life, being able to solve animal problems or get, give people relief from horrible grief, because sometimes we lose a pet and it's much worse than losing a person.
Yes.
And the depth of that pain, a lot of people don't even know how to be present for you when you have that kind of loss. They say stupid things like, just go get another dog, you'll be okay. Or it's just a dog. When you spend 16 or 17 years with an animal, that's 1/16 of your life with
Oh
a
yeah.
pet who knows everything about you, who's in the vibe with you, who knows your patterns, who knows when you don't feel good, who'll come over to you when you're really having a rough time, because it's all energy. We're always giving out energy.
Yeah, I think it's so important, what you're talking about meditation, um, because you got to quiet the mind to hear the messages of spirit. And I also like the idea of the alone time. That is like so important to me. And I'm surrounded by family and friends and everything, but wow, do I really value my alone time, because that's when I can get clarity, no distractions, no things pulling me here, answering this question, solving this problem. It's like you're just totally present and still, and then the guidance, the messages, and everything comes through at that time, or the inspiration. Maybe, yeah, you want to change your career from a doctor to being a graphic artist, but you can't hear that if you're constantly in motion, or you're constantly doing the rat race, going around the wheel, round and round and round, and you just never get that chance to slow down and really feel, what is it that I want to do? Until someone like you comes along and then puts that little spark of inspiration, and I'm like, well, let me think about that, and then pushes people in another direction, which is so beautiful.
And
It's
there's
like,
a lot of like really bad ones out there. I'm not going to mention names, but I remember before I became a medium, I went to these very famous sisters that were mediums, and I paid $750 for a reading, and I'm going back 20 years.
wow.
And they said, you're never going to marry your husband, blah, 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 blah. Well, we're together 19 years. It's like,
Mm.
I don't get it. I don't get when people predict or say these negative things to people, because I didn't believe them, to be honest with you, because we had a soul connection when we met, and it was like very, oh my God, like, and I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. But when he walked in the room and I saw him, but he didn't see me, I went, oh my God. I just thought I would focus on my career and not date anymore. That's and
Spirit
it's
had
just,
another plan.
yeah, there was another plan. I just wanted to focus on my career. I was selling real estate in Beverly Hills, and I was going to just focus on that career, which, by the way, brought me no joy.
Mm.
I would go in homes and I would feel all the energy, and animals would respond to me in a way that people will go, why is my dog acting like that around you? He doesn't do that. And I wasn't really slowing down enough, because the fear of not having money or not being able to
Mhm.
take care of myself, there was all this fear and noise that was all familial. That was my family of origin. And we are so programmed from such a young age. So I had to unpack all of this. I had to work on myself on such a deep level to unpack all that. And I have like anything now is icing on the cake in my life. Like I'm so grateful for everything that shows up because I have trusted that spirit. And I'm not saying quit your day job and think you're a medium. That's not the messaging. I'm saying meditate, slow your brain down. Because as you slow your brain down and meditate and calm yourself, you heal. You heal on many levels.
Absolutely. Well, the dolphins are all about following your joy. I mean, that's a given. That's like number one on the dolphin list. You must follow your joy. They're all about the bliss and the joy. And if it's not joyful, don't do it. You know, that's a big message that they share. And that is so hard for people in this world, in this modern age to do, because we don't think of the joy in the job. It's the joy after, when we go home or on the weekends.
1,000%, 1,000%.
And
Find the joy in the here and now.
in
Like
the here and
find
now,
something
in
about what you're
everything
doing.
you do. And
Yeah.
and if you want to know where to go, the direction, it's follow the joy. The joy will take you there. The joy will lead you where you need to go. And that has been such a clear message for me from the dolphins, when the teachings that they shared. And it's so, so powerful. And I love that you were the thing about it was probably really good that you had those sisters, those mediumship ladies that gave you incorrect advice. Because the other thing about this, whether we do readings or any information that we give, we should always use discernment. And discernment is, can you just from your point of view, how important that is in any reading and any interpretation that
But
people.
if you have the other thing is if you have like a crazy strong no, like that's God working on your behalf. Like, I don't think there's something called free will that's so much stronger than somebody giving you, like, I remember when I was in my 20s, my mom passed away. It was a real bad time for me. And I went to one of those gypsy card readers and I didn't know. And she said, "You're cursed and you need to give me $10,000. It's like crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Like in Brooklyn under the L train. It was
it sounds like I know about
it was so scammy. And I'm like, that's not a healer. Somebody that is a healer has like when you're in their presence, you should feel calm and not crazy and not all over the map. Like that's like your brain will slow down to like almost theta when you're with somebody that's a healing person that's giving you a reading or helping you.
Absolutely. And I also feel that as we use discernment, that we're taking our power back. We're not giving our power away.
That's
to
right.
someone else, like, tell me what to do. Even in my husband's profession, he's an oral surgeon, and people say, well, should I have this tooth out or should I do this surgery? It's like, you have free will. You have to decide, do you want to live like this? You make the choice, and don't give up your power to some authority or just trust your own discernment. And even when someone's telling you something, you use your discernment. Does this make sense? Does this resonate as a yes in my soul? Or is this like, or is your gut wrenching? That's what happens to me.
I love that we're talking about this because right now on the planet, there's so much fear.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's heavy, and we need to work inwardly on calming ourselves as an individual, calming down and being present with ourselves. Because if you can do that and work with yourself and your own fear, because it's just so present. It's palatable. You calm yourself, you're actually contributing on healing the planet. And just healing, working on yourself, writing, journaling. Like, I would love to do, dear God, guide my pen, and then turn the page and let God answer. And how would God answer you? That was a beautiful practice. And just, even if you're rushing to work, spend the 10 to 15 minutes in the morning with yourself and your soul and breathing and thinking, because it just makes such a huge change for your day.
Oh yeah, for me, it's a requirement. I have
Yeah,
to take
me
even if
too.
my alarm goes, I was like, okay, I need 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, integrate, think about, and I try to visualize what I want to manifest in this day, how I want the
Yeah.
day to unfold and things like that. And it's like you're setting that intention for the day. And I think it's so true about this time, we're there's so many distractions
Mhm.
and so many things that are pulling us out of the moment, out of what our focus is, like, oh, what's going on in other parts of the world, or what here or there, or what's going on. It's like we can only control like what's in our own little circle, our friends, our family, our
Oh,
job.
I can't even go to the husband's friends or family. I can only control me, because if I start looking at the husband and like, well, what'd you eat for lunch today? That wasn't the right thing to eat. It's none of my business. I have to stay with me, because if I don't, I can't be of service to myself. And if I'm not in that place, I might as well just cancel my book for the day. I
Right.
have to be straight with me, because I have to help others. So I'm really careful with keeping the focus on myself. And if I see myself focusing on the outside, I don't watch the news. I tell people, do not watch the news. Um, Watch uplifting things, read uplifting literature, because you're changing every cell in your body when you're feeding your brain joy and happiness and dolphins. And
That's
it really makes a huge difference, because you're not in la la land. That's the thing that people worry about. Oh, well, how will I function if I'm always there? Well, you'll function better if you take care of yourself and sit with your soul and your divinity, and just breathe, and think about what you would like to feel right now. It makes the world a difference in your day and your life. And it's like a trickle effect. Like if you heal you, you heal your family, and then you heal the neighbors, and then you heal the town. It's like, I love what they said about Jesus. He would just walk into a city and change the energy of the whole little city that he'd walk into.
mm-hmm.
And that's how you want to be, even if you're not a self-proclaimed healer, or you're not doing this professionally. It begins with us. We have to work on ourselves, otherwise we affect our kids, our families, our cities. It's what's going on right now. And I just say, get out of the fear, get into your life. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I teach Reiki, the first thing that we teach is self-healing, because how can you go out there and work on other people if you're a mess and you have to have these tools in order to heal yourself and take the time to get massages yourself and get the nourishment you need or whatever it is. Fill yourself up. I like to think of it as a cup of water. You got to
Yeah,
fill your cup up. Otherwise, you
yeah,
have nothing. If it's empty, you have
that's right.
nothing less to get. You have nothing left to give.
That's
It's
right.
there's nothing coming out. So you got to fill your cup up. I'd love to talk about how you view people who you talked a little bit about the future and people that try to predict the future. And how do you see um, like when people do that and that interpretation, or people ask you, oh, about the future, how do you handle that?
I don't do a lot of like global predictions. I I reserve that for people that love doing that. Have I been right about things? Yeah. Have I been wrong about things? Yeah. I like to work when I'm working. I think that's the question, right? Is that
Well,
the question?
it's not about global, like people will say, oh, am I going to get married in a year? You know, when am I going to get married?
Right.
Or they'll ask, or, when is this house going to sell? Or I don't know, whatever they.
Yeah, no, I get it. What I usually do in my sessions is I don't like questions because spirit answers what you need. They already know. I leave questions at the end. And here's what's ironic. 9 times out of 10, I go, do you have any questions that I didn't answer? No, I think you've answered everything. Like you answered everything. Oh, but there's this one thing, and they'll ask about their nephew, but I'm not connected to their nephew. So I just like, I think it's gonna work out. I'm connected with the person that's in front of me. And if I'm in a group setting, it's clear as day who I'm talking to. The woman in the back of the room in with 50 people in the room, her deceased husband was standing behind her drinking wine. And that's what he loved. He was drinking wine and the wine bottle in front of her. He's talking to me about the wine bottle in front of her, how she has not opened that bottle of wine. It was like, it just came to my mind that how incredible that was for me and that woman. And she's like this, she wasn't answering. And I'm like, this is your husband. I know that this is your husband. And the whole room is laughing and she's just going, and I was giving, I don't remember the details that I gave her because it was a couple of months ago, but it was pretty incredible because I could see him like as if he was in the room.
Wow. So you see the images of these people that have transitioned.
All different ways. They could, if I'm doing an in-person event, they literally could be standing right there.
Mm.
Or if they're having trouble connecting with me, they play a movie in my head. So I get the whole thing. Or I'll get the person, how they sounded, the words that they used, and I'm just like talking, and it's almost like, not that they take over my physical, but it's like I have a client that says, I cannot believe when I work with you, my sister, you sound like her.
Mm.
So it comes out in all different ways. I never know. I can hear, I could smell, taste, and see all the clairs. I have pretty much all the clairs. And I've been in the UK, all the master teachers, like we go to the UK to study, and I've been declared a healer and an emotional medium. Don't really know what that means. It doesn't really matter to me. It's always morphing. I mean, I'm not gonna like go, I identify with that because then more won't come in. I don't want to be like I used to represent painters, museum level painters. And I feel like if you took a painter that was really successful and then you brought them to school and you forced them to paint inside a parameter, you would probably ruin their artistry.
Yes,
So I
absolutely.
feel like that about myself when somebody says something to me, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to listen to that. And that's how we have to be as individuals,
Yeah,
discerning.
yeah. The way I kind of view the future is that it's always in flux.
Yes.
And it can always take different directions. And so you could see, I see it not because I'm mathematically inclined, I see it like as probabilities. Like
Mhm.
there's, given what you are now, there's probabilities of this, but anything can change at any moment. It can go to another direction. It
That's
can
right.
veer left or veer right because something happened in your life. So anybody that says that they can predict someone's future, to me, is just like, okay, already, I don't buy into that at all.
100%. 100%.
Because the future is always changing, and there's infinite possibilities. There are literally infinite possibilities in front of us. So how can you say it's going to be this one thing?
Exactly. Exactly. It's always changing. And like when I think about the doctor that I told was going to be an artist, and her dog popped in, and the girl is like, I spend so much time with my dog and I'm single and I don't want the dog to die. And it was already 16 years old. And I said, no, your dog's going to stay with you until you're settled. And she wrote me an email and said, I was engaged and my fiance and I had to euthanize my dog. So I don't know like how I'm getting it and what's coming in, but a lot of it ends up happening. And I don't know if you would call it a prediction. I think it's the guides and the spirit guides of that person trying to help them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. If you're sharing that, it's probably to help somebody,
Right.
that information, or that's what's being revealed to
Yeah.
assist them at this time on their spiritual path.
I totally agree. And a lot of people say, oh, are you doing mediumship or are you doing psychic? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm healing.
Right.
I'm healing a soul. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to, to get caught up in a box. It's not, this is an art form. It's not an exact science. And the art is spirit connects to mediums. They connect to you. They connect to all of us. But it's how we deliver the message that is all different. That's why some people love certain mediums and some people love other mediums.
Mm-hmm.
I know a medium that's quite good, but she'll cry through your whole session. I don't know how good that is for her. But,
Wow.
yeah. Everybody delivers the message differently and everybody takes on the energy differently. And it just depends on, that wonderful expression, your vibe is your tribe. Like your tribe will be attracted to your vibe, and either people will like me or they won't. And I'm not here to make somebody like me. I'm just here to deliver a message, and help.
And you talked about needing to clear. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you do that? Like if you had a real powerful reading, do you need to clear, and what are some of the techniques you use?
Well, I love nature, and you're by the ocean, dipping in the ocean's
I know.
fantastic.
So
Yeah, it
the
just that's
easiest way
all.
to clear.
The animals in the ocean, they're so super powerful. I have a tree in my front yard that's like my go-to because
Mm.
I work in my home office and I work in a private office too where I'll see people in person. And I just go out and hug a tree or exercise, do some like heavy breathing and exercise. And I sage a lot. I have to sage a lot. I'm an empath by nature. So whether I like it or not, like sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and the day is full of readings and I forget and I'm making my coffee and I have no idea why I'm having these feelings that don't really feel so good.
Mm.
And then the minute I get on Zoom with somebody, I realize it's them and I'm like, do you feel like this a lot of the time? Yes. And I'm like, okay, good. And once I say it and I'm with them, it dissipates. It's not with me anymore. But it would be impossible in any good medium if they're telling you that they can do this work like 5 days a week, 5 readings a day. You can't. It's almost physically impossible. And the ones that push themselves and do it and work nonstop, I don't know if they do so well. I think maybe they're suffering because it's like really impossible to do it nonstop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it totally makes sense. Well, Susan, how can people reach you?
SusanAllenMedium.com.
That's ALLEN.
Yes, .com. SusanAllenMedium.com. That's the best way to reach me. And I think there's a link to get to my assistant and they can book sessions on my website. I do healing. I do animal readings and I do people readings. And if people sign up for my newsletter, they'll get a special code to get a holiday discount. I think we're doing something for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And you're going to be here on
I'm
Kauai.
going to be with Eugene. I can't
Yes, over at our center.
Yes,
That's going to be so exciting. It's so
I
nice.
know.
Could you just give us a quick synopsis of how that's going to work? Because we'll have people sitting around, and how do you see
People
that?
sitting around. People sitting around are going to be there. We're going to do in person, and tickets are available on Zoom. If you can't get to Kauai, you can come on Zoom and experience mediumship, and you will be able to participate. You may not be able to answer out loud, but you will be able to see your responses in chat and then bring you in to get a reading as like a participant. So we're going to do it both ways.
Nice. And you're going to go to each person?
Yeah.
You just give a group thing, or how does that work?
But how it usually works is I just let spirit guide the way.
Mhm.
So when we're with 30 or 40 or 50 people, I just go to the person that spirit is bringing me to in that moment. It would be impossible in like 90 minutes to read for 40 people, but I'm pretty quick and I try to get around the room fast and give everybody a reading. Not everybody, but the people that are supposed to have a reading will get one for sure.
Well, it was just like you said, even though you're reading somebody else,
That's right.
the other person may say, I think that reading was for me too, and is like,
Yeah.
so,
I love
the
these events.
message for everybody.
Yeah, because people will email me or come up to me after the event and they're just like, you mentioned my husband and it's exactly, and then they'll give me more information and I don't even know the person, but they get so excited about the fact that I connected with the husband that they'll just go on and on and on about, it's very cute. I had like a 89-year-old woman at an event come up to me at the end and she was like, and she's telling me all about her husband because I made the connection to her husband. And it's like, I'm kind of out of it at that point. I've
I would
closed down. I barely remember what her husband told me for her or the reading she got. But I try to be very loving and polite, and I like to give hugs. And um, I really love the work, and I feel like it's such a beautiful art form, and I hope we get everybody to participate and come, and it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. So it's December 28th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. here at Dolphin Touch on Kauai, dolphintouch.org if you want to follow us there. And also, you're in LA and
That's right.
you see people personally there, right, as well? We have
Yeah,
people following too. A lot of Californians come to Kauai because we're just a hop away. And
yeah,
yeah, and so a lot of them could just book a session with you in person as well, correct?
that is correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Susan, it's been amazing getting to know you, and
That's right.
my
Better.
session was
I mean, it
incredible.
was great when we did the reading yesterday, but I didn't really have a conversation with you. And now that we're having this conversation, I'm getting very, very excited about coming and doing this event.
Oh, awesome. Well, the reading was right on, and I loved hearing about my mom, my grandmother, my dog, and I was just, I would
Oh,
just say you're the real deal.
oh,
That's all I can say about that.
thank you.
All right, well, we'll be available here and we'll see you at the next event. Aloha.
Aloha.